Hello everyone. Today I'll explain 5 technical questions from the CCNA exam. The first question is about the number of claims. It says, referring to the diagram after the gun, 11 interface on this switch receives the bridge protocol data unit BPDU for the spanning tree. What will happen? What is the result? According to its configuration, this configuration has already enabled BPDU. After enabling this feature, what does it protect and how does it protect? Since this feature is configured, once it receives a BPDU, it will automatically enter shutdown state. That's the rule, right? So for this question, we choose C. Let's look at the correct answer is C. Okay, next question. Second question. The second question. The second question is asking, in the access layer, what technologies are used to provide security protection based on identity? That is, to mitigate threats. So what are these technologies? For access protection, it's definitely 802.1x authentication, right? Or it could be this, or even MAC authentication. All of these are possible. Then you authenticate the user's access, right? If authentication fails, the user can't access the internet, can't use these resources, and can't obtain any authorization. That's how it works. In this case, it uses 802.1x authentication. And on top of that, it uses Radius. Through the Radius protocol to access the Radius server, which then returns authorization, and only then can the host connect. So for this question, the correct answer is C. All right, let's look at the third question. For the third question, there's a diagram. Refer to the diagram. Refer to the diagram and what kind of operation does the switch perform on this trunk link. Now, there are 4 options below. The way this question is asked is a bit nonsensical. Let's take a look. Let's see what the diagram shows. The diagram isn't very clear, so I'll copy it out. This is an example. And for this diagram, what kind of operation should we take? Let's just look at the answer list. Go straight to the answers. The first option says that the link cannot be formed, which means that according to this configuration, the link can be established. So let's see. Now we understand what this means. Let's compare the configurations of these two. First, this is called the Bus Ethernet Interface 01. And over here it's also 01. And its encapsulation is lens. As for the native VLAN, the VLAN itself is 999. Here's the difference. This side is 999, and over here is 99. Then for the one below, the mode is the same for both. They're both in mode. Option A says that this cannot form a trunk link, and the port will enter an error disabled state. Well, regarding the native VLAN, right, if the two sides are different, then this will indeed happen. Now, as for this answer, let's look further ahead. Check the next one and not worry about whether A is correct or not, because A doesn't clearly state that the answer is wrong either. Then the second one says the trunk link is formed, but the native VLANs do not match, right? They definitely don't match. It's obvious they don't match, so this statement should be correct. Next, let's look at the following one. The trunk link can be formed. However, VLAN 99 and VLAN 999 will be in a down state, that is, shut down or disabled. Each of them just enables their own VLAN. It's just that they can't negotiate with each other. Basically, they're just sending data to each other. So this statement should be incorrect. Based on this answer, the one above that says negotiation is impossible, that the link can't be formed, that's wrong, right? And looking at option B, which says the link can't be formed, that's also incorrect. So the correct answer is B in this case. Okay, then question 4 is a multiple choice question. Choose two. Choose two answers. This is a subnetting question. It says that our engineer is using this address range, which is a 19-bit address range, to configure two new subnets to meet the following three requirements. Here are the three requirements. These three requirements are: one of the subnets, the first subnet, must support 24 hosts. Then, the second one must support 472 hosts. So based on the first two requirements, we actually can't determine the answer yet. For example, option A, how many does it support? It supports 472, but in fact, it actually supports 510 hosts. And this one also supports 510 hosts, which of course includes 472, right? Then looking at the next option, how many does this one support? This one uses 23 bits. 23 bits. How many hosts does it support? 30 hosts, right? The one below also supports 30 hosts. So looking at it this way, we still can make a choice, right? If we can't choose, then there is only one wrong answer, which is C. Based on the first two, only this one is incorrect. Now, for the incorrect one, let's look at the remaining options. According to the third option, it says we must use the longest subnet mask. Based on this rule, we can determine option A. Option A ranges from 10.7, 148 to 1, up to 149, 149.255. And the first one among them is 148.1, 148.1. So this option A is correct. So option A is right. And who do we eliminate? We eliminate option D. Now, let's look at the remaining option B and E. Then this 10.7, 155.64, its range, the scope, is 10.7, 155.95. Between these, the first one is this 155.65. So 155.65 is directly option E, right? Option E is correct, which means option B is incorrect. The correct answers for this question are A and E. Okay, let's look at the next question. Question 5. For question 5, it says to refer to the diagram. This diagram is actually quite simple. First, let's see how many labels there are here. VLAN 8 is data and VLAN 9 is voice, right? Then these two PCON and PC2 when the administrator says that for this switch, he wants us to look at the diagram and says the administrator must configure these two interfaces on the SL803. Also, PCON and PC2 must be in this VLAN. And this phone, well, basically, both PCON and PC2 must have a VLAN. And as for phone 1, it must be in the voice VLAN. Which of the following conditions must be met? This is actually very simple. First, you enter the interface, the 1-1 interface, right? All the configuration is done on this one interface, the 1-1 interface, and that's the first step. The second step is to set its mode. Configure it as access mode. Here, that's it set it to access mode. Then what does this one? One interface allow? It allows data, of course. This place allows VLAN 8. Right, that's all for the configuration here. So this interface is done. Next, for the 1-3 interface, Here you have a phone and a PC connected, right? Then enter the 3 interface. Set its mode to access mode. And then what else do you allow? Allow VLAN 8. Then here, allow VLAN 8 and also allow voice VLAN 9, right? Here, allowing VLAN 9 means that this interface is allowing both VLAN 8 and voice VLAN 9, right? So the correct answer is A, and the others are all wrong. Let's look at the correct answer. Choose A. Submit. Alright. If you want to learn Cisco technologies or get access to Cisco question banks, please send me a private message, or you can leave a comment below the video for technical discussions.